Yeah, I chose art that specifically was depictions of war and the violence of war by artists from different periods. The first few were from Mexican depictions of the Mexican Revolution by three artists they're made in the 40s, just after World War II, and then uh, one that famous painting by Picasso, Guernica, then the sort of the sketches that painting was based on, done in '37, and then the other one was the Jackson Pollock titled War that he did prior to doing his drip paintings. So that was done in the 40s. I think it was 47, something like that. So this is like a period right after World War II. It's in between World War II and the Korean War when Pollock did his. And what I just found striking about him is you get these famous artists who uh, did pieces like this, and that it spoke to a lot of people, in ways that think about the atrocities of war. Uh, then I showed a few of my own that uh, that actually helped people or drove people to think more about an historical event that took place in Minnesota, with the Dakota Wars and then the execution of the 38 warriors. Uh, and then a couple other images, one of Matoaka, also known as Pocahontas, iconography, and just helped those kind of things help people think about sort of all the atrocities that happened to Native peoples, uh, including her. She was displaced. She died in England, and that's where her remains are. And then she was taken over by Hollywood and Disney, and sort of turned into some sort of fantasy figure. So I wanted to, take her back and where she belongs. Um, and then there's the one of Paul Jones, Bishop Paul Jones, the Utah Bishop Episcopal, who protested World War One. What I found significant about that individual is that he uh, protested the war in the first place. I don't think you don't hear about too many people. There weren't too many people doing that then for World War One or two, for that matter. Everybody was, you know, uh, given given a lot for themselves for the war effort. And suddenly this bishop pops up and he's like protesting. It's all does it all in the name of Christ. So that individual is real significant. I think that um, makes one pause and think about the history of the institutional church and the parts it played in war and violence, and how it supported it in some ways, and you know, uh, so that's kind of what that particular icon meant to convey. I showed all my brothers, not all of them. I showed some of his latest political cartoons that look at uh, what looks at DAPL, the Dakota Access Pipeline in North Dakota, and what has occurred there these last several months to now, where they're being moved on. It's going to be uh, finished, the pipeline, and we all kind of expected that to happen. And it's all based on our uh, greed and need for oil, and our and well, we don't really think about the environment and all this other stuff. Water, the church doesn't really do much in that area either. Uh, I think more has to be done. And so these political cartoons are a way to convey that message, get it across, causes people to think. It's a powerful medium. And so overall, I think I just wanted to show how art uh, uh, helps inform people, helps them think, uh, helps them take action, it pushes them, and just from the symbolism.
And what's your thoughts about inviting people to institutes? If a person were to consider coming to a Bartimaeus Institute, could you describe sort of the environment, the people environment that people would be coming to?
Yeah, I think the individuals that do come here are individuals that are, take action in their respective communities, and they're thinking about ways to engage their community in ways that are, gospel-based, social action type of organizing. And I find for me the people that are doing this kind of work are, really interested and really committed, and that's a good thing to see in the church today overall. And for myself personally, I do it I like coming here because it's part of my continuing ed. It's an alternative way for me to engage the gospel